So hi guys, it's Alex here again, and we have in this video another exercise. This one is going to be, well, if we were to ask you to solve the position from the very beginning, I think it would be very tough, but what we're going to do is we're going to split it into a couple of elements. At the board with the white pieces was a strong grandmaster, and here he had an attack. We can see here the knight, the bishop, the rook, even the queen, and even this bishop on c1, they're all coordinating in an attack against the black king. And so the grandmaster played the move bishop takes h6. Luckily for us, we actually know that this was the best move in the position, but the grandmaster would have had to play this move without knowing for sure. So he needed to visualize the position quite a few moves ahead. Let's show how the game went. Bishop takes h6, g takes h6, queen g4 check, king to h8, queen g6, bishop e3, f6, and here with a threat, I don't know if you can see what threat white has, so black took care of that threat with the move rook to g8. So let's call out the moves again. Bishop takes h6, g takes h6, queen g4 check, king h8, queen g6, bishop to e3, and now white played the move f6. Black here played rook to g8. Let's now put that position on the board. Bishop takes h6, g takes h6, queen g4 check, king h8, queen to g6, bishop to e3, f6, and here black played the move rook to g8. I had asked, could you see what the threat was here from white? A few moves ago, maybe it was blurry, but here we can see the threat is queen g7 checkmate, and black has no good way of stopping this threat, so he played rook to g8. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to try to solve what white's next move was. Now, what we're first going to do is we're going to bring the position back to the very starting position, and let's see if you can keep the position in your mind long enough and solve from the beginning. Let's go back. Now, imagine that you were in the grandmaster's shoes and you've seen this possible continuation, and you have to try and solve the exercise after the move rook g8, but you have to solve it from here. So bishop takes h6, g takes h6, queen g4 check, king h8, queen g6, bishop to e3, pawn to f6, rook to g8. Can you still remember that position? And can you find the best move for white? Pause the video if you wish, and the next step is I will return to that position and I'll give you another chance to solve then. Okay, let's put the moves on the board. Bishop takes h6, g takes h6, queen g4 check, king h8, queen g6, bishop e3 in order to cover the h6 square, f6 creating a threat of mate, and now rook g8. Now, in this position, white could still keep an advantage with the move queen to h5, but he has better than that. The solution, I will now say it, is the brilliant move queen h7 check. The point is, after king takes h7, white has another check, knight g5. The king must go back to h8, and now knight f7 is checkmate. Can you see the position? Can you visualize the checkmate? Let's put it on the board. Queen h7 check, king takes h7, knight g5 with a double check from the bishop and the knight. King goes back to h8, and now knight f7 is checkmate. So we can see the different levels or degrees of difficulty. We can see that if we are maybe told the first move or assured that there's a solution, that's one level of difficulty. If we want to make it even harder, we can put ourselves in the shoes of the grandmaster who is playing an over-the-board game and may have needed to visualize from the very beginning and sacrifice a piece without that certainty that we as students have that the move worked. And finally, for relatively newer, less experienced players, we can start the position from the final position, and then in that case we only need to see a few moves ahead. We need to see the queen sacrifice one move, then king takes, that's the second ply, knight g5 check, a third ply, king h8, and on the fifth ply white would deliver checkmate. I hope that you've enjoyed these videos on visualization. I think that we've covered a lot and the puzzles have been quite challenging at times, so please don't despair if it's been difficult for you to solve or you haven't solved maybe the majority of them. The idea is not about being perfect, and we're all here for watching this to improve our visualization. Some of you will have several years of experience in chess, and some of you may only have several weeks of experience. So there are varying levels, and it's key not to be too harsh on ourselves and not to beat ourselves up over not being able to solve these things. Visualization is perhaps the most difficult thing to master in chess and to really be able to see ahead. But hopefully with these examples and with this type of training and different kinds of training that you can do at home, as mentioned before, things like looking at master games or even things like playing blindfold games yourself and testing those abilities and solving tactics, all of these things can help you to develop improved visualization skills over time. And if you stick with it, I'm sure that you will make progress. Hope you've enjoyed these videos. Give them a like if you've enjoyed them, and I hope to see you in another video soon.